Earlier I mentioned that band of rapscallions that came down here from UCF in '82 to begin the turtle surveys. Two of the guys that were part of that earliest group are here with us today. Paul Raymond over there in the green by the wall, and Blair Witherington, who will be our next speaker, and it's really good to have both of them here. Blair, what do you have to say?
Hey, Doc. All good things about this gathering. You know, you were second guessing yourself, Doc, about having this out here in the breeze, but I think it's just remarkable. We got pelicans flying overhead. Earlier we had an osprey fly over with a mullet, but a lot of us thought for sure it was going to slip from its talons and fall on her head. And there are mating green turtles out there. I hesitate to mention it because everyone's going to flee to the railing and this whole deck is going to collapse, so don't do that. But there are mating green turtles out there, so pretty appropriate for this gathering, I would say. I first met Professor Carr late in his life history, but early enough in mine to make a really important impression on me. And I wonder if I'm unique among this crowd in first meeting Dr. Carr here at the refuge named for him. Of course, back then it wasn't called the Archie Carr Refuge, but it was, as it is now, a stretch of beach with more sea turtle nesting than any place in the country. So it was a really important place, and it was the location for a TV series called Discover the World of Science, and Doc knows about this. So the episode featured Dr. Carr pursuing the mysteries of sea turtles with Doc here as the deuteragonist. Many of you might not know that he had that on his CV, deuteragonist. But my role was as a student, so I was Doc's student at the time, and what I did was I would run around with the great Archie Carr here and the film crew on a sea turtle nesting beach, and I would be tasked with running out and coming up with hatchlings that we would use in like a little mock demonstration of hatchlings floating in sargassum. I think I helped strap a cameraman to Paul as he drove down the beach on a three-wheeled ATV, sort of lashed together pirate style, as they would film Doc following behind on his three-wheeled ATV. And of course I was there at night to watch sea turtles nest. And there was a lot of chance to listen to conversations about sea turtles between two great men, Archie Carr and Doc Earhart. And so I certainly appreciated that, but I especially appreciated a particular instance where Dr. Carr produced one of his Dear Senior Premio letters that he read aloud. And as you know from the chapter from So Excellent a Fish, he just got such a sheer joy from those letters, and to watch Dr. Carr read from one of those letters was really amazing. So I enjoyed that tremendously, but then I moved on. I finished my work here, and it was time for me to select a PhD program. I was going to continue on with graduate school, and I really wanted to go to the University of Florida. I wanted to go to the University of Florida because of Dr. Carr. Now I knew that he wasn't accepting students, but I was hoping that if I attended the University of Florida, I could capture some of the essence of Dr. Carr. And so I wrote him a letter. And in the letter, I talked about fanciful ideas about studying sea turtles. And I happened to mention that I had met him on the beach in my role as best boy on the Archie and Doc show. And I sent the letter off, and I knew that was probably a mistake, that he'd never write me back. But later on, it was about a month later, I was at a meeting. It was the meeting of the Sea Turtle Biology and Conservation annual meeting. And I gave a paper on my work here at Melbourne Beach. And Dr. Carr came up to me after the paper and he complimented me on giving a good presentation. He was interested in the work, and he said he had received the letter and that I should expect a letter back. And I was just floored. I didn't have a chance to talk to him much at the meeting, but he did in fact write me back, and he invited me up to Gainesville to meet with him and department faculty, and I took advantage of that. So I drove up to Gainesville, and I remember Dr. Carr being the most gracious of hosts, leading me around the department, having me meet people, and here I was with an audience of the great Archie Carr. I had a chance to talk about all the things I wanted to know about sea turtles, and so of course we talked about roadside wildflowers and the social importance of shade trees, and I think we talked about sea turtles too, I'm pretty sure. But it was an amazing time, an important lesson for me. I was very thankful to have that opportunity to have a little bit of guidance. I ended up being Karen Bjorndal's student, and then later I graduated and worked under Annie Malin. So in at least a few different ways, I consider Archie Carr as my academic grandfather. I'm very appreciative of that. But mostly I think I took away a very important lesson, and that is that one should never pass up the opportunity to nudge a neonate in a productive direction. And I received that attention. I'm greatly thankful for it.
You don't know how much I enjoyed hearing that again about how your conversation with Dr. Carr at that meeting. Was that on the coast of Georgia? Was that at Waverly where you sat down and talked with him? I believe it, yeah.